Hello and welcome to the finals of the Comeback Mechanics October 2024 Gym Leader Challenge Tournament. My name is Cody Hope, and I'm going to be casting for you this finals match between Alan Schultz on Fighting versus Matthew Brockman with Electric Spread. The Comeback Mechanics are a competitive team located in Dallas, Texas, and the first Tuesday of every month, we host a free Gym Leader Challenge tournament at Boardwalk Games in Carrollton, Texas. We do allow unlimited proxies for our Gym Leader Challenge tournaments. Again, this is a free tournament. We don't really have any prizing on the line. It's mostly for the love of the game. So you will be seeing some proxies in this match, and I will do my best to let you know what those proxies are as they come up. But it seems like we are finished set up here. Both players have good starting hands, and I'm excited to see how this game turns out here. All right, we see Alan, who is on the left playing Fighting. He opens up the Bonsly, one of those baby Pokemon with free retreat, a very good pivoting option. And we see us start off with a Buddy Poffin. And you may have noticed that Alan picked up his prize cards when he played that Buddy Poffin. A house rule that we have is that if you and your opponent are fine with it, during your first deck search, you can go ahead and just take a look at your prize cards. Just kind of helps save time prize checking in a singleton format. But off of this Buddy Poffin, we see the Roly-Coly getting picked up. That is a integral part of Alan's strategy, which is a really interesting build of Fighting that is integrating fire energy into the deck list. It is because we are playing the Colossal, which has its tar generator ability, which allows you to attach either a fighting energy, or both from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. That is a really powerful energy accelerating ability. And we have other use for the fire energy as well, as we are playing the Hisuian Arcanine, who has a Scorching Horn attack that does 80, but if there is a fire energy attached to it, it does 80 more. So there is definitely this fire sub package that is in this fighting deck that I'm really excited to see happen here. The other Pokemon we got off of the Buddy Poffin is that Nactil. Of course, evolves into Garganactyl, which has the Energizing Rock Salt ability. So definitely seems like we are kind of getting our basics in play. And then we see a Quick Ball for the Growlithe, which again evolves into that Hisuian Arcanine. And not much else to do here. Very, very solid first turn for Alan as we have passed it over to Matthew. We see a bench of the Blitzel, which of course evolves into that Zebstrika with that very, very powerful sprint ability, followed up by a Nest Ball. We went ahead, checked the prizes. Nothing crazy in the prizes. We see an Electro Power, an Energy, a Float Stone, Evo Incense. Nothing crazy. So excited to see that prizing shouldn't be too much of a factor in this game. Off of the Nest Ball, it looks like we are eyeing up the Elekid here. Again, Elekid pretty solid into this board state. If we grab that and we have a pivot, we should be able to take out the Bonsly and get a knockout here going second, which puts us way ahead. I definitely think the longer this game goes, the more it is going to favor Alan with Fighting. And so I think the plan here should be to try to set up quick and get some damage in play for Matthew. We see a Speed Lightning Energy coming down onto the Electabuzz, allowing him to draw 2 additional cards. And we find the U-turn board, allowing us to retreat into the Elekid. And that Charging Shot attack will deal 30 damage to the Bonsly, knocking it out. At least that's what I assume we're going to go for here. And get a really early start to the game. And that is exactly what we see. And if we look at Alan's hand is not great here. So if Matthew is able to capitalize on this, we could see a very, very quick game here. We see a evolution into the Nactil Sack, followed up by Guzma, which is going to pull up that Blitzel. And I think we may just end up using the Singe attack of the Hisuian Growlithe. Of course, just burns the Blitzel there. And if we are unable to get this Blitzel out of the active spot, we could see that really stumble the electric deck, because that is kind of the only draw power Pokemon in the electric deck is the Zebstrika with that sprint ability. allowing Matthew to discard his hand and draw 4 cards. But we do see the evolution here, so not likely that will happen. See what else we see here. We see an attachment of the Float Stone and attachment of Counter Gain. Counter Gain is a really interesting tool. Allows the Pokemon that it's attached to, its attacks cost 1 less if the opponent is ahead on prizes, which it's not the case for now, but could be a really big deal later, as of course that Regieleki does discard energy to use its Terra Spark attack. We see the counter energy coming down onto the Electabuzz, no doubt trying to set up that Electivire. So again, the game plan for Matthew here is going to be to get some damage in play early and then do some really big, heavy hitting Pokemon in the mid game. That Electivire being one of them has that high voltage current that does 50 damage to each of the opposing Pokemon. We see a little bit of a friendly take back here of the Float Stone, and instead we Field Blower away the U-turn board, which of course returns it to the hand. It gets attached to the Zebstrika, Float Stone comes down onto the Electabuzz, and then we see that Sprint giving us a fresh hand here. And I think that's really going to be what Matthew kind of wants to do here, is just turbo through the deck, especially now that the amazing Raikou is no longer legal after the most recent ban list. Our ability to kind of take big knockouts early is not really present, and so definitely feels like we want to just kind of turbo through our deck, get as much damage in play as possible. We see a Professor's Letter being played, another proxy there, allowing him to get 2 electric energy from the deck, one of which is just going to be quick balled away. Really nice use of resources here, as we have access to 2 Pokemon with Dynamotor in the electric deck. And we see Matthew going for one of them right here, the Mareep, which evolves into Flaffy. And then, of course, there is also that Tynamo, which evolves into Electric. And again, so discarding the electric energy here feels really good because we're just setting up Dynamotor here in the future. We see a Trainer's Mail come down, allowing us to look at the top 4 and get any trainer card we want into our hand. That can be a Stadium, Tool, Supporter, Item, any of them, which is a really, really strong thing. We see that there is an Iono in there. I also think I saw a Luxurious Cape. I imagine we take the Iono here, right? Because we have a hand of 2. It's Escape Rope and Electric Energy. Not awesome. So getting that Draw Supporter seems like a great way to kind of keep that train rolling. But I don't know if we maybe want to play the Iono. We see that Alan did nothing on his turn. He evolved and passed, essentially, right? And he's got 3 cards in hand. So leaving him on 3 could prove to be not great. So maybe we just hold the Iono and just hope to kind of ride this Elekid to victory. And that is what we're going to see. We're just going to see another charging shot to the Roly-Coly. 30 damage, does have 70 HP, so going to take a little bit more to knock it out there. But if we don't have anything, it's going to be a fine strategy here. We see the attachment of Strong Energy to the Hisuian Growlithe, which of course allows it to do 20 more damage to the opponent's Pokemon, and we're just going to see another Singe coming down. So not great here. We are kind of just stuck. And this could be the opportunity that Matthew needs to kind of bring an early close to this game. Unfortunately, we don't really have any attackers quite set up yet. The Regieleki probably is not going to get set up this turn. The Electabuzz could possibly get set up, but we would need to get a little lucky for that, right? Yeah, we have the energy attached to the Electabuzz, the counter energy right now only counting for a colorless, but if we're able to find the Flaffy, putting 50 to everything would just kind of close out the game here. We knock out that Roly-Coly, deal over half damage to this Growlithe and to this Nactilsack, and I just don't see how we lose from that spot. So we are going to go for the Iono here. This does give Alan a pretty big opportunity to come back into the game if Matthew misses the Electivire here. And let's take a look at these 6. Hard to see exactly what's in the hand here, but I would feel like if we had it, we would have windmill slammed it down. We see the Stormy Mountain come down, which is really nice. Allows us to search our deck for an electric Pokemon, put it on our bench. And what's always interesting about these dual-typed stadiums, right, is that could end up helping out the opponent. Will not here because, of course, we're on Fighting, not Dragon. But we get to take a little peek at Alan's hand while Matthew searches his deck. We definitely see that Alan got a much better playable hand. So we'll see how the rest of Matthew's turn plays out. We see him grabbing the Zapdos here, which does have a very strong attack, being able to deal 80 damage if it moved into the active spot this turn. Unfortunately, we did already do our attach for turn onto the Electabuzz, so the Zapdos will not get to attack here, which is a little unfortunate. That could have been a really big swing to the game as well, taking out the only potential attacker on Alan's board. We see the Sprint coming down, and doesn't seem like we got much going on in this hand. I see the Electric, I think, as well as some Energy. So I think we could just see another charging shot here, just 30 more damage. Maybe try to knock out that Roly-Coly, just get it more set up for a future turn. We could see a retreat into another Pokemon. You know, it's kind of hard to imagine that Alan does not have a really strong turn here, giving him a fresh hand of 6 plus the draw for 7, right? But if we don't retreat into like the Zebstrika, it's going to be hard to actually utilize the Zapdos that we just got. And we do see a retreat here, and it's looking like we're eyeing up the Regieleki. Again, we're not going to be able to attack with the Regieleki, but there's also a Pokemon we wouldn't mind getting knocked out if Alan does have a very powerful turn here. All right, and attach for turn to the Growlithe, plus using a Garganactyl would be enough to KO this Regieleki. So that seems to be the plan here, is we just kind of expect Alan's going to pop off on his turn here. And we did see that in Alan's hand, he has the Riolu as well as the Lucario and the Hisuian Arcanine. So we now have a good steady stream of attackers that we can set up, barring any other hand attack. The Lucario is especially interesting with its Roaring Resolve ability, making it where if you put 2 damage counters on it, you can search your deck for fighting energy and attach it to the Lucario. Really nice, just allowing us to kind of get set up, but it does kind of play into the spread strategy of the electric deck, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We see Alan bring down a Scorched Earth here, which allows you to discard either a fighting or a fire energy to draw 2 cards, a little concealed cards action in a stadium. And again, I really like this synergy with the fire engine that Alan has in his deck, right? Because we are playing both the fire and fighting energy, and the Garganactyl can accelerate energy, as well as the Colossal. We have lots of ways to accelerate that discarded energy into play, so a big win-win here. We don't see any other evolutions. We don't see an attack, so just another pass here. So Matthew does not get punished for this, but we are in a weird spot where the Regieleki can't attack. We can't retreat it. So we're kind of stuck doing a lot of nothing here. We see an attach to the Regieleki as well as the Dynamotor onto the Zapdos. We don't even sprint this turn. I think we have too many important cards in the hand. And so we are just going to do that Static Shock for 20 damage onto the Arcanine. Your favorite Saturday morning cartoon character getting in there for 20. Back over on Alan's turn, we see a Green's Exploration. And this is just absolutely perfect, right? Green's Exploration is just an excellent setup card for this deck, as none of our basics have abilities. All of the evolutions are ones that have those abilities. So we do get to play that Green's Exploration to search our deck for any 2 trainer cards. I could just see us grabbing like an Evolution Incense and like maybe even a Rare Candy, right? Rare Candy Evolution Incense allows us to go into the Colossal, which would be fantastic. We do know that we also have the Lucario in our hand, so maybe we go for something like an Escape Rope, right? That could allow us to get the Lucario into the active spot as well. Lots of options for us. We just kind of get to play with the deck in our hands. And we see 2 cards taken. Didn't quite get to see what those 2 cards were, but we see one of them was an Earthen Vessel, discarding a Fighting Fury Belt. And we see the Garganactyl does indeed come down there. And we are using the Garganactyl's the Energizing Rock Salt to accelerate an energy into play. And then we see the attach for turn of that fire energy. Now that the fire is in rotation, that's proving to be really, really useful for us. We see an evolution into the Lucario. And again, that Roaring Resolve ability will allow us to accelerate that energy directly onto it. So from seemingly a board of nothing, Alan has been able to set up his Arcanine ready to attack, has his next attacker pretty much ready to go. Whether we attach for turn or use that Roaring Resolve ability again, we are able to set up the Lucario for next turn. We got our Garganactyl to accelerate. We do know that Alan is on several of those big basic Pokemons. We see in his deck list, he is playing the Groudon. We are playing Stonejourner as well as the Terrakion. And so lots of those big basics that could just kind of come down, get a bunch of energy accelerated to it. Something else I love about all these big basics is that they all have a colorless cost in their attack. So getting to use the Colossal just kind of also does double duty there as well. So attaching 2 to pretty much any of our Pokemon, minus like the Lucario, is going to be really, really good for us. We see the Scorched Earth Concealed card zing us 2 more cards. And then, yeah, we do get to just kind of take a knockout on this Alecki, which ties us up in the prize cards here, which feels really good. And, yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. So prize cards are 5-5, and we're going to see the promotion of the Elekid, and it's going to pass back over to Matthew. I really enjoy these baby Pokemon. I love that they have the free attack. I love that they have the free retreat. Yes, 30 HP is not great, but just kind of does a lot for you. You can get them off a Buddy Buddy Poffin. Really, really solid cards here. We see Matthew bench the Pikachu, and then we're just going to see a Marnie big hand attack going on here. Alan has indeed accumulated a bit of a hand. And the Pikachu evolves into the Raichu, which has that Collateral Bolts attack, which does 50 damage to all Pokemon that have a damage counter on them, including your own. So we do need to be mindful that the Zebstrika has 2 damage counters on it, so it could be, unfortunately taken as collateral if we attack with the Raichu too much, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem here. It just kind of functions as a second Electivire. Because we're not playing any Thorntons, anything like that. So if the Electabuzz or the Electivire gets knocked out, we don't really have a way to very quickly put it back into play. We'll have to wait a whole nother turn cycle. And so using the Raichu could prove to be a very effective way to kind of close out a game once you get a big Electivire attack. Camera swaying a little bit here. See our players checking on that. This is our first recorded Gym Leader Challenge tournament. We've been doing these tournaments for a long time, but this is the first time we're trying to record it and put it out. We definitely plan on doing a lot more of this. So if there's any feedback or anything you would like to see, let us know. We always love the feedback. We see a big retreat here from the Elekid into the Zapdos, so we do get to use that Thunderous Assault for 80 damage, which really, really nice. It is not going to knock out this Arcanine, but it does just put a lot of damage in play for us to take advantage of on future turns with either the Raichu or the Electivire. We see the Earthen Vessel coming down. We are getting rid of the Tynamo, which is not awesome here. Again, that's another Dynamotor Pokemon, which does a lot for us. But our bench is kind of full right now. And we're also going to see a fail of the Earthen Vessel. We are only on 6 Lightning Energy here. We'll see that acceleration over to the Pikachu. And yeah, we're probably just going to do that Thunderous Assault here. Let's see, there's we see 2 energy in the discard pile, 3, 4. There's 5 energy in play, 5 of the 6 lightning energy. So we also see that the speed lightning and the counter energy is in play as well. So we are very low on energy. The Rescue Stretcher is going to come in, giving us, putting the Regieleki as well as the Tynamo back into the deck. And we are going to Level Ball. We may just pull the Dynamo back out, or we may just do nothing because, again, we have access to that sprint ability, which is really great at helping us churn through our deck, but it is not great at conserving resources, right? Once these cards are gone, they're just kind of gone, and so definitely understand wanting to be a little diligent about that. We see the sprint come in, and we have the Raichu, very, very nice, as well as Teammates gotten off of our 4 cards. So Teammates is going to be really, really nice because, again, we know that the Zapdos is going to get knocked out on this next turn. That could allow us to go into the Electivire and get a big, big knockout here. We see 80 done to the Arcanine, so which is, again, not great that we don't get to take a knockout, but I think it's going to be fine in setting us up for future turns. We see the Karina come down from Alan. Really nice, just kind of an Arven for fighting Pokemon, allowing us to search for any fighting Pokemon as well as an item. I would imagine we could just see rare candy Colossal here. Like, that would probably be one of the best things that we could do, allowing us to really get set up and getting after it. But we could also see maybe one of those big basics coming down, right? We could see the Terrakion or Stonejourner. We are also playing the Gliscor, which has that Hurricane Shock attack where you flip 4 coins and do 50 damage for each heads. And if 2 of them are heads, you also paralyze the opponent. So a little fun addition as well. So maybe we could try to go for maybe the Gligar, trying to set up a Gliscor here. But we do kind of feel in control of the game if we are Alan. So we may just try to make sure that we aren't weak to a boss's orders, right? If we do go for that and we boss up the like Roly-Coly or something, or the Garganactyl, then we're kind of left without a accelerant in play. So maybe we just try to do that. We do see the Colossal getting taken, and then Nest Ball getting the Groudon, which of course has that Magma Purge attack, allowing you to discard up to 4 energy from any of your Pokemon, and it does 60 damage for each card you discarded, which again, just works really nice with our Colossal here. Like, I am just so enamored by the way that we have built this deck to really take advantage of the Colossal, where, you know, the 2 energy just has so much utility. It can power up almost any of our attackers. The fact that it's a fire energy synergizes with the Arcanine. It synergizes with that Scorcher. It even synergizes with the Groudon, because the Groudon doesn't care what energy you're taking out. We do see that the Rare Candy was already in hand, so we go Rare Candy Colossal. And then we see that energizing Rock Salt ability to accelerate an energy onto the Lucario, which does indeed take that damage, the 30 damage off of it that it already had on itself. And then the Colossal will accelerate both of those energies that we used to retreat back onto the Groudon. So we didn't lose any energy this turn. We kept all this energy in play. And then we are going to see the attack here for the knockout. The Aura Sphere Volley from Lucario does 60 damage for each fighting energy you discard off of it. So we see both fire energy getting discarded, plus 10, so 130. Definitely enough to take out the Zapdos. Over to Matthew, the Elekid is brought up, and this doesn't feel great, but we do get to play teammates, and what a beautiful teammates that is. Nice full art there, and we probably see Electivire get taken here. I just don't see a world where we don't grab the Electivire, or a way to get to it, maybe an evolution instance or something. And the second card could be a hand attack. We could go for something like well, no, we've already played Iono and Marnie, and I believe we saw the Versus Seeker get discarded off of a sprint. So I don't know if we actually have any ways to recycle our supporters. So, all right, and we see that Electivire and Tynamo was taken off of the teammates. So just trying to kind of get our board in order. We now have our attacker set up. The Tynamo comes down, and so we'll be able to double Dynamotor here in the future. And now this capture energy is finally turned on. Alan has gone ahead in prizes 4-5. And so getting to put 50 on everything, really nice. It's going to allow us to knock out this Arcanine, as well as just kind of put a bunch of damage into play for a future turn. The only hard part here is that the energizing Rock Salt from the Garganactyl does just kind of undo a lot of the hard work that Matthew's doing, taking 30 damage off each time you accelerate a energy onto your Pokemon. So not only are we setting up our attacker, we're also healing that damage, making it harder for a future Electivire or a future Raichu to take a knockout. So that does not feel great, especially considering we are behind. Oh no, we do not knock out the Arcanine. That is my mistake. That Arcanine has a whopping 150 HP. I thought it was 130. It is 150. So we don't even take a single prize card this turn, which does not feel good at all. We see that Alan is going to drop down the Viridian Forest. allowing us to discard a card to put a basic energy into our hand. We do see the Gliscor getting discarded here, so don't think we're going to get to see that this game, and that's okay though. We see the the fire energy getting taken from the forest here. So we could just see another punch with the Lucario here, although I don't know if it actually knocks out that Electivire. The Electivire has 140. Yeah, and we're only dealing 130, so not great. We'll see the attach for turn of the fire energy plus that energizing rock salt to not only heal 30 damage off of the Lucario, but also giving us the 2 energy we need to retreat. Colossal then gets to accelerate 2 more energy onto the Arcanine, allowing us to attack for turn. It does seem that we missed to heal the 30 damage off of the Lucario, but I don't think it should matter too much, as 50 more damage from a Raichu does not knock it out. So I hope that doesn't end up having a huge effect on the game, but I would be remiss if I did not point it out. We see the promotion of Zebstrika here as we return over to Matthew's turn. And yeah, it seems like the game is starting to slip away from us a little bit. Us not being able to disrupt Alan enough to take those evolving basics out of play does put us in a bit of a tough spot. We see the Pokegear 3.0 coming down. We do see that Guzma is in the hand here, which is what we are going to take. There's a Carmine as well, but again, don't think we need to draw too many cards. That deck is looking very, very thin. We have done the sprint thing of just churn through our deck. And this could be a scary spot for Alan. Both the Colossal and the Garganactyl have 4 retreat. So this could be a turn where we maybe Guzma up one of the 2 and then start spreading damage around with the Raichu. Right, we can Dynamotor onto the Raichu, which only needs 2 energy to do that Collateral Bolts attack. And then we could try to clean up the board here. 50 to everything. We pass 50 to everything again. And that is going to give us 3 or 4 prize cards here, right? Because it'll knock out the Colossal, it'll knock out the Lucario, and it'll knock out the Groudon. But we, let's see here. We've pivoted into the Elekid, which again has that free retreat. So really nice to kind of give us more time to think. No need to commit to anything just yet. We'll Zebstrika, getting rid of the Luxurious Cape as well as Raihan, giving us a fresh 4. So again, just really trying to make sure we have everything that we need here. And with only 2 energy in the discard pile, it is going to be kind of hard for us to get this Colossal out of play, right? We can accelerate 2 energy onto the Colossal, maybe an attach for turn, but we're just going to pass after that, right? We see Ultra Ball getting rid of the Cynthia and the Greens Exploration. Do not think we're going to get to Greens the rest of the game, so makes a lot of sense here. And then we see the Regieleki get picked here. We see a double Dynamotor. I see. We're doing the double Dynamotor over onto the Regieleki, perhaps setting up that Terror Spark attack. And, oh, I see what's going on here. We're not attacking with the Raichu because the Elekid does have 2 damage on it from that burn a lot earlier in the game. So if we use that Collateral Bolts attack, we're going to knock out our own Elekid, allowing Alan to go to 2 prizes. And, again, I don't think we're taking a prize card here with that Raichu. And so, you know, that is not great to give up a prize card while not taking a prize card yourself, especially when you're already behind. But it just seems really advantageous. All 5 of Alan's Pokemon have damage counters on them. So maybe there's an argument that if this Colossal sticks, just doing double Raichu is just going to be good enough. It's just going to be what you need to get yourself out of the game here, because if we double Raichu there, if we had Raichu on our last turn plus Raichu on this next turn, because doesn't look like Alan has a way to get this Colossal out of the active, we could just see Matthew make a big, huge comeback into the game. And that's what's so scary about the Electric Spread deck is you can feel in the driver's seat for the whole game, and then you're just kind of dead because we take a bunch of prize cards in one turn, or we've knocked out all of our engine Pokemon. And so there's no way for us to come back into the game. We see Matthew draw his 1 card for turn. I believe it was an Escape Rope, which we kind of don't want to play. We love that this Colossal is stuck in the active spot here. And again, with that energizing rock salt ability off of the Garganactyl, charging shot isn't really doing anything. It's just kind of it's putting damage into play, but if it's not taking a knockout, we can just Garganactyl heal or Garganactyl heal on a separate Pokemon, which doesn't help us with that Raichu math. So doesn't feel great, and we are running out of time to use this Raichu, because if Alan is able to get the Colossal out of the active and go to 2 or 1 prize cards, then that attack is not really great, unless of course we force a draw or something. But we do just see the charging shot for 30 onto the Groudon. Not awesome. And then what a top deck for Alan. We get the Float Stone, which is just going to allow us to retreat into the Groudon here. And again, this is something I really like about this deck is we use the Energizing Rock Salt to put that third energy into play, and the Groudon can discard energy from anywhere. So we see that he's going to discard energy from the Colossal, right? It feels a little bad to get that Float Stone into play, and then that energy would normally just kind of be stuck on the Colossal for the rest of the game. But with the Groudon, we're able to then discard that energy, allowing us on our next turn to use Garganactyl, use the Colossal again. And we see he kind of overcommits into that. He not overcommits, overpays for it, right? We discard a full 4 energy, when in reality we only needed to discard 1. But by discarding that 4 energy, it gives us a lot more freedom in future turns here, right? We can Colossal 2 energy into play, plus the Energizing Rock Salt. So we're not locked into one attacker here. It also stops another boss play, where if we do decide to maybe stall the Garganactyl, we can put 3 energy on it just from our discard pile. We see the double Dynamotor coming down. Over on Matthew's side, we now have both the Raichu and the Regieleki all set up, ready to go. But now that Alan is at 2, I just don't think we can afford to use the Raichu anymore. If we use the Raichu, we're going to lose the game. So we just see that Terror Spark coming down. We do knock out the Groudon, which is fantastic. And it looks like we get to knock out the Arcanine as well, I believe. Let me double check my math here. We do 40 to 2 of our opponent's bench Pokemon. Yeah, so 40 to the Arcanine should knock it out here. And we're doing 40 to the Lucario, it looks like. So big 2 prizes, which is great. That makes us feel a lot better about our life, right? We were behind 5 to 2. Now it's only 3 to 2. Alan might go to 1 here off of the Lucario. And then if we can knock out that Lucario, we're just kind of out of attackers. So that does feel very, very strong for us. The unfortunate part is, because we're so busy dealing with these attackers, Alan can just focus on finding his next attacker, right? Because of the heavy, heavy energy acceleration that we have, there's really nothing stopping us from doing something like this, right? Slamming down this Stonejourner, and, well, it is ready to be used again. And, oh my goodness, a Rescue Stretcher. Yeah, so we're kind of slamming the door shut on Matthew being able to get out of this. We have multiple attackers set up. There's no boss shenanigans that we can do. And Raichu is not going to be able to do as much as it could in the past, because now we got a bunch of clean Pokemon in play. There's not as much damage counters just kind of floating around in play. We see we go up into the Lucario. We did the Energizing Rock Salt, and then with that Tar Generator, we can split that energy. 1 on the Lucario, fire over on the Groudon, plus the attach for turn. So we're 1 energy away from attacking here, and we're even just going to save the energy, because if we save the energy, okay, no, we are going to attach for turn. Final answer. But we can attack with the Stonejourner as well, and so we see that knockout from the Lucario with that the Aura Sphere attack. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find that attack name, because I think it's so funny when there's a bunch of names. Aura Sphere Volley for knockout here, and we are going to go up into the Raichu, and Alan's at 1. I don't know how Matthew's going to be able to get out of it. We have 3 cards in deck, so we're going to have to try to make some big money moves here. I suppose we could see maybe try to recur into the Zapdos, maybe. That can take a knockout here, but I don't really know what it's going to do. We see an Evo Soda being played, probably targeting the Electric. And then just nothing in there for us. I think I saw a Buddy Poffin. We know Carmine is in the deck, I believe. Not quite sure what else is in there, but I'm sure it is nothing great. We see Super Rod in the hand, which is nice. The escape rope is coming down. Now, this is really interesting. We could put up something that we don't care about, right? Like the Groudon here, because again, if we knock out the Groudon, who cares? We'll just promote the Lucario, take a knockout. We'll promote the Stonejourner, take a knockout. Pretty much as long as we didn't put Garganactyl in the active, we are feeling fine here. And we're seeing a check of the discard pile here. We do have that Super Rod in our hand, so we could put some electric energy back in the deck. We could maybe try to set up an Electivire, but I just don't really see too much of a way for us to stall our way out of the rest of the game. And I think this game just kind of came down to, I believe it was Matthew's third or fourth turn, right, where we were really trying to go in on the Electivire to put a bunch of damage into play. And it didn't work out, and then because we already committed the attach for turn, we weren't able to get an attack with the Zapdos. We decided to retreat into the Regieleki because we thought that Alan was going to pop off. And then when he didn't, that was then another turn that we gave Alan to get set up, because there were 2 turns there where we just kind of didn't do anything. And I think that is really what swayed the game back over to Alan. It allowed us to get into the mid game where all of our engines are set up. We're able to do whatever we want, take a big knockout every single turn. It's also really interesting that the Singe from the Hisuian Growlithe on the second turn of the game ended up being one of the determining factors. We weren't able to really utilize that Raichu in a way that we would have liked, because we would have been giving up free prize cards. And so really interesting game that we had, where both decks kind of got to do their thing once everybody got going. And it just kind of seemed that the overwhelming power of this energy acceleration plus the 30 damage that gets healed with the Garganactyl stopped Matthew from getting to do the spread thing of taking 4 or 5 knockouts in one turn. We see the Hisuian Heavy Ball coming down, giving us that Tapu Koko. A little late for the Koko, unfortunately. Would have been a lovely card to see earlier in the game, as it, I believe, does 30 to every Pokemon in play. So kind of a mini Electivire. Sorry, 20. It does 20 to each Pokemon. So a little mini Electivire here. And we are going to see the Raichu come up. And we are going to do the Collateral Bolts. It's going to put 50 on our Zebstrika, but we are going to put damage on this on this Garganactyl, damage on the Colossal, damage on the Lucario, but it just is not going to be enough. We get to put his million energy into play, take a big knockout, and the game is going to go to Alan. Fantastic games from both of our players. Think there was a lot of fun back and forth going on there. And with that being said, we will see you next month for the November Gym Leader Challenge tournament. Again, let us know in the comments if there's anything you would like to see in the future. And of course, don't forget to do all of the things, like the video, subscribe, share it stay tuned for more exciting Gym Leader Challenge content. And with that, my name is Cody Hope, and I am signing off.